Hello and welcome. My name is Cynthia Eguridu. You're watching Success Africa. I have with me today a gentleman, Dr. Kamara, from Sierra Leone. He's a fine gentleman. He'll be talking to you about what he does, and we'll be going through what our focus on success in Africa means to him, to me, and to the rest of you. So, Dr. Kamara, welcome to Success Africa.
Thank you.
What do you do in Africa? You're from Sierra Leone.
Yes, I am.
And you work in the Central Bank of Sierra Leone?
Yes, presently I'm the chief executive, they call it the governor of the Central Bank of Sierra Leone.
What does that mean, the governor of Central Bank of Africa?
Well, it means you head an institution that is responsible for the soundness of and the development of the financial sector in Sierra Leone, more particularly the commercial banking industry.
Okay. Is that the same as being the Minister for Finance?
No, it's different.
Okay, but you worked in the Finance Ministry before?
Yes, I did as a financial secretary, which is the professional and administrative head of that ministry.
Okay. So what's the difference between Central Bank and Ministry of Finance?
Well, one, in the Ministry of Finance, you deal with fiscal policy. It's about managing the budget, developing the budget, and then looking at the macroeconomy, how it develops, and this sort of thing. And the central bank, you deal with monetary policy, exchange rate, money supply, and together with the Ministry of Finance, you should be able to determine the blend, the relationship between monetary policy and fiscal policy. Okay,
so say in Africa, our focus is Africa, say in Africa, how is that relationship interplayed? So, you know, in Africa we like titles and we like status, so who's more senior? Is the central bank more senior to the Ministry of Finance, or is the Ministry of Finance more senior to the central bank, or how does that work interchangeably?
I don't think it's about seniority, it's about institutional relationship. In terms of position, of course, the central bank normally is as the first line of defense. Is the ministry is accountable to the Ministry of Finance by law. Right. But for me as governor, you try to work more with the financial secretary, who is the professional head of the ministry, so that once you agree on the blend between fiscal and monetary policy, then the minister, as the political head, can give you political leverage into your policies. Okay.
Would you say your work was interesting?
In the Ministry of Finance?
Well, even now in Central Bank, would you say you had an interesting job, or would you say it's frustrating? And if it is, what are your frustrations in what you do?
Well, it's challenging. There are different challenges. In the Ministry of Finance, the challenge was to develop a budget that reflects the aspirations of the people, like how do you allocate finances for poverty reduction, for economic growth, etc. In the central bank, it's a question of managing money supply, the question of ensuring that the banking system and the financial sector really settles down to meet the aspirations of the people, what we call access to finance, that the people are able to approach the commercial banks with ease and then have a working relationship with them. And that as a central bank, you also regulate the commercial banks so that you feel that vacuum, that the banks become part of development process.
Okay, that's good. That sounds good. But for us, the common man on the streets, take for instance, say here in the UK or even in the US, where the government is trying to pump money into the banking sector, thinking it will trickle down to the consumer, and it's not doing that. So in your position as a governor of the central bank, what tools do you have available to you to make sure that that is happening? Because you're regulating the commercial banks, but then how do you get them to then serve the aspirations of the man on the ground? Can you do anything about that or not?
Yes, you can. It's by moral suasion. You talk to the banks and let them know that there are opportunities out there, that their services are not trickling down to the ordinary person. And if this is not happening, then they also stand the risk of not growing as commercial banks. That they lend to people who matter most, the farmers, the small-scale investors, the medium-term investors. The banks should have the comfort in lending to this type of enterprises. You know.
When you wake up in the morning, and you head to the office, what are your primary thoughts?
I think what comes up to your mind every morning is, am I succeeding in what I want to do? Is if I want to make the financial sector responsive, is this happening? Are the people going to banks? I mean, where at the moment you have no more than 300, between 250 and 300 banking accounts for a population of 5 million? It's less than 10%. So how do you increase this ratio, this proportion of people accessing finance? How do you make finance work for these people? That's what normally runs through your mind every day.
You talk about you want to be successful in making sure you're meeting the needs of the person, getting access to finance, getting access to credit, getting access to banking products. I live in the UK, and some things I take for granted living here in the UK. I'm a diaspora, and so ultimately my thought is to the homeland. Okay. I want to see Africa work. But it's easy to be disillusioned with Africa because of how it is portrayed to me here in the diaspora. And so, speaking to people like me, and then many of us over here, what things do you put yourselves, what kind of challenges or rigors or disciplines do you put yourself under to ensure that what wakes you up in the morning, you can go to bed at night and sleep knowing that you have gone some way towards doing that? Do you want me to repeat my question in a different way?
Yeah, try again.
Okay. I guess what I'm asking is, how do you stay focused on what you want to do?
Yeah, I think it's about setting yourself objectives, and objectives that are realistic, that are not too ambitious. Now, talking about the African diaspora, of course, the biggest challenge is to see that the diaspora has enough confidence to come back to Africa and be part of the development process. I don't think it is right for the diaspora to sit and wait until there is success before the diaspora comes in. I think the diaspora has to be part of addressing the challenges in Africa, and then you'll be more comfortable going back and this sort of thing. So what it means that those of us who are there, we should strive to work alongside the diaspora aspirations, and then have a shared responsibility to see that we move Africa the way we want Africa to be. So it's the biggest challenge. How can I convince people like you to say, look, there are opportunities out there, but to realize these opportunities, we have to work together as a team, this sort of thing.
So do you think that's an easy thing to do, or is that difficult? Because I have my expectations, and they could be mismatched with the realities on the ground.